Okay. Hello, hello. I don't know if anybody's out there, but try to gently turn this a little. There we go. All right. So today is week 4 of our knit along. I want to see how far along you all are. I'm going to show you how far I've made it. It's not the end. It's not. I was really hoping that I would make it through the leaf chart, all 8 repeats, but I haven't. I've made it through 4. I'm into my 5th repeat, so I've definitely made progress. But I just I did a lot of stuff last week. So I think I've mentioned this before. I raise rabbits. I'm also a licensed judge. And so I ended up judging at the Missouri State Fair, and I knew that I was going one day, but they called me and they had a little bobble, little misstep, and they needed me a second day. So I actually drove to Sedalia and back, so it's 2.5 hours each way from my house on Wednesday and Friday last week. So yeah, that's why I didn't get quite as much done for the knit along as I had planned. And then in addition to that, yes, Kathy, I have been pickling, and I've also been peppering. So I have lots of vines. I may have overplanted a little. I think I'm up to 23 gallons worth of pickles, mostly dill. Because my family, who is the recipient of these pickles, and they should really appreciate this. Yeah, anyway, it's mostly dill pickles. Lots of pickles, lots of pickles. At some point I'll post a photo or something. But yeah, a lot of pickles and a lot of driving last week. And then yesterday I spent like all morning with the peppers because I've had a great pepper year. Some years are terrible. This year has just been like almost the perfect pepper year, honestly. And I had, I don't know, 2 pounds of red sweets and about 2 to 3 pounds of orange and yellow sweets and about 3 pounds of green Anaheim peppers that I had to do something with before they went bad. So I made a really, really delicious red pepper paste yesterday. It's one of like the finest things I've ever made. The only thing that could make it better would be if I put a little more garlic in it. I didn't have quite enough garlic for me. And the recipe called for 4 cloves and I put 6 in. So clearly I needed like at least 10. Just, you know, because I like garlic. I like a lot of garlic. But it's really good stuff. And then I also made, I took all the yellow and orange peppers, the sweet ones, and I made this beautiful pepper jam, and it's really tasty too. I'm not sure how much of it I can share because it's really tasty. And then I diced all of those green Anaheims and threw them in the freezer. So anyway, that's my story. I just didn't get nearly as much done in terms of knitting as I'd hoped. And I'm like hugging my mug of coffee today, but I made like super coffee. I sort of took one of those hot cocoa bombs that my friends Heather and Danielle got, and I put it in my coffee while my coffee, because we use an espresso maker, while my coffee brewed, and so I have like hot cocoa mocha coffee today. And it's got marshmallows too. Anyway, and then I didn't have any time to knit today because I forgot that I was taking a class today until Saturday, because today's Monday. So anyway, I took a class today. This was my class, was making this little forget-me-not knotted lace flower. So super cute little flower, and it's supposed to be a ring. So here's the start of my little ring thing. So this will all be like attached together. But Ina was here and awake, and she fell in love with this little flower. She loves flowers and butterflies and whatever. And anyway, when she wakes up, I'm going to size her finger to the ring, and I'm going to make her the little flower ring because she will love this. Love it. And the other thing is that she also already requested a butterfly. She was like in and out during my class, and of course we were doing Zoom, so I had it on mute. Like checking out the flower and like, are you done yet? Can I have this, mommy? Are you done yet? I'm like, no, mommy needs this. No, stop taking mommy's things. So anyway, so with the super cool Mediterranean knotted lace, you don't have to starch it. Like if you really wanted a more solid piece, you could. But for me, I'm probably not going to starch it. I'm just going to let Ina have it as a ring and love it. It's made out of size 10 thread. I'm not a huge fan of size 10 thread. You know that I have been working with my Mediterranean knotted lace now quite a bit since February, getting back into it, relearning it, and I've just discovered I don't like size 10 thread. I use it when I teach with tatting. It's great for learning on, but not for Mediterranean knotted lace. So when I teach Mediterranean knotted lace, because I am going to be teaching Mediterranean knotted lace at the Ozark Fiber Fling and the Winter Lace Conference in California in February, then I will not be using size 10. We'll probably use 20 or 40 because we want a lacy appearance, and the size 10 just really doesn't have a great lace appearance. It's like the difference between macrame and tatting, right? Macrame is a much bigger, bolder art. It's a very similar knot. Tatting is a much finer, lighter project or art. Anyway, but I digress. So, I want to talk about, of course, it's August, which means we are still in our month of mindfulness. And I did say that I was going to make socks, but I'm not making socks this month. We've talked about this off and on. I am making my beautiful Waterlillies scarf. Here's the original photo. In my lovely handmaiden, what I choose, sea silk. So it's silk and sea cell. And it's not the, let's see. It's not the sea lace, it is the sea silk. So it's the like more of a fingering weight version of their beautiful base, and I just love it. And in fact, Ina was petting it today. She's like, this is really soft, mommy. Can I have it? And I'm like, no, mommy's not done knitting that. You got to give it back. She was like trying to walk off with my super soft Waterlillies scarf, and it is super soft, so I know why she was trying to do it. But anyway, remember, this month is all about mindfulness, so it's about doing lots of crafts. So maybe you're going to do some Mediterranean knotted lace, who knows? Or some spinning. I have my wheel over here. Weaving, which, you know, we did last week. Sewing. Oh, and I got new fabric. I might have pre-ordered this. It was super cute, and I couldn't pass it up because I love Halloween. Halloween is my holiday. It's right before my birthday. Anyway, look at the pretty fabric. Just love the pretty fabric. And this is actually from Oregon, knitfabric.com. I love them. But when we do our sewing days, look at the cute little, get out of there. Look at these, the cute little pumpkins, cute little mummy, cute little ghost. They're so cute. Anyway, I totally like pre-ordered this. Shouldn't have, got a lot of fabric. But hey, I bought yarn and I bought fiber too. And books, lots of books. I'm like, I'm just gonna, it makes me happy. I'm getting it. Anyway, it's kind of my mantra for the month. That's part of my mindfulness. It made me happy. I'm getting it. So anyway, don't forget that we have the Slow Yarn Crawl that is still ongoing. So you should go find some happy things on the Black Sheep website and get your stamp if you haven't already done that. And don't forget to enter the social media contest. All you have to do is tag Black Sheep Fiber Emporium so that we can find you when you post. And you can post anything with any of the projects that you're working on, so long as it is needlework related. It does not have to relate to the mindfulness theme. We just wanted to have a theme to have a theme. But just because we have a theme doesn't mean you have to follow it, because, you know, Tina and I are like that. So anyway, let me stick this over here. Yeah, so just things to remember. Things to remember. don't forget that we got some really awesome new books in. I am still very slowly putting up the little sneak peeks, I call them book talks. They're usually under 3 minutes, and I open up the book and I flip through and I show you projects and I talk about what you can expect in the books. And it's just, they're little sneak peeks, they're little tiny snippets. I don't go into great detail, but we got some really awesome books in, and I wanted to share those with you. So anyway, today we're going to get into that Estonian lace knit along. I don't have as much to talk about because we covered most of it last week. But then I also wanted to remind you that Wednesday we are going to be talking about this lovely. So we're going to be talking about sewing, and in particular embroidery, on Wednesday, and I'm trying to get pricing and photos for this kit so I can tell you everything that's in there. But it's an 11-inch beechwood hoop. There's this screen printed pattern. There's the floss. There's an embroidery needle, and then a full color instructional booklet comes in this, and it has 2 different pathways. So it has a beginner and an intermediate pathway, I think. I'm pretty sure that's right. But we're gonna open this up and talk about it on Wednesday. And then I am going to email the gal and try to get some info and timelines so that I can tell you when we could maybe start our stitch along. No, don't worry about that. That's like, because I want to do the stitch along with you. So that's my goal. I also am hoping that I will have this thing done by next week so that we can block it together. That will be our final lace knit along section for the Estonian lace Waterlillies scarf. Well, it doesn't look very attractive like that. Hang on. Here we go. There, now it's all sexy, right? Sexy and smooshy. Anyway, I'm really hopeful that we can talk about finishing the edging and block this together next week. That's my goal. I may not make it, but that's my goal. I know I only have 4 more sections to do on the flowers. Does anybody have questions about a specific stitch or how to do that stitch, or questions about like counting or anything with the knit along? Because that's what today is going to be, since I didn't manage to get all of my repeats done so that we could talk about the edge. The edge is really simple. And in fact, if you have more yarn, you can go ahead and knit more rows, because the edge is just a garter stitch edge. So you just knit every row. And that does help it to match the side edging. So if you have more yarn, you know that you can make it through a half repeat, which would be 8 rows, or another full repeat, feel free to add more. You can make it longer if you have a longer skein, or you're using 2 different skeins or 2 different colors, whatever. You can make it longer if you have more yarn. And you can add, like I said, more rows to the final edging on that garter stitch edging to make the scarf longer if you want. So just a couple little things that I wanted to talk about with finishing this. And then when you go to block it, kind of have to keep the top edge straight, and then the garter stitch end straight, and then you want to pull your points out really strongly. But we'll talk about that hopefully next week. Like I said, I am in the 5th repeat. I have 3 more to go after that. And remember, the easiest way to count your repeats is to count these little points along the edge. Each point is a repeat. So we did 8 in the flowers, and then we have to do 8 in the leaves. So there's the flower section. There's a leaf. 2, 3. Oh, sorry. I can't see. There's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've made it through 4, and I'm in number 5. Anyway, and we talked about my little tips and tricks for working that 3 into 9. I hope you haven't found it too tricky if you have been working that 3 into 9. It's not a really difficult stitch. You just have to go a little slow as you're learning it, and you have to remember to count and make sure that you don't knit 2 loops together. I actually did that last night. I was working on the purl side row and I was spreading out my stitches, and as I was counting, I was like, man, something is not right here. And when I got back around to the next row, I had purled 2 stitches together instead of separating them. And so my stitch count was off by 1. Not a big deal. I fixed it. So anyway, if you have questions, today is the day to ask me extra questions about the Estonian lace knit along our Waterlillies scarf. It's not a super exciting day today. But do remember, Wednesday, I need to put the event up, but Wednesday we are going to be talking about that stitch along, and then next week, hopefully we will block our Waterlillies scarf. That should be the last August Monday, right? Last Monday in August, I think, will be our week 5. And we will have had a whole monthly Monday month, right? Monday monthly? Monday month? I don't know. Anyway, of working on the Waterlillies scarf. So, anyway, that's on the agenda. And then we're also going to be talking about Spin Together again. So that is next Wednesday. We're going to talk about Spin Together. And Monday we will be doing our finale for the Estonian lace knit along with my Waterlillies scarf. That's the plan. And then when we start to get into September more, let's see, we're going to start the stitch along. So the stitch along will be, I don't know, do you want the stitch along on Mondays or do you want the stitch along on Wednesdays? I can do either. But we'll do the stitch along once a week. I'll set those events up. I would normally put them on Wednesdays, but we've kind of been doing like our knit along, stitch along on Monday, and then I've been doing other stuff on Wednesdays. You know, we might just put it on Mondays. It might just be the stitch along will start on Mondays, and I'll let you know when we get to it. We'll probably do a little bit of tatting and a little bit of Mediterranean knotted lace before we get there. I'm thinking about doing an online class in the Mediterranean knotted lace. So if you'd be interested in that, if you could leave me a comment or send me an email, then I would love to hear from you, because I would kind of like to do a Mediterranean knotted lace class and kind of run a beginner's course, a beginner's how-to on the Mediterranean knotted lace, and talk about, we can do a lace beginners, and we can do a bibila or a flower beginners course if you want. Because they're very similar, they have some slight differences. Or I can do a combined course, so we can just do both and you can learn about both. I don't know. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, please drop me a comment so I know. Yeah, that hot chocolate bomb in the coffee is definitely worth it. Anyway. All right, well, if nobody has questions about the lace knit along, don't forget you can always send me questions. I did have someone that asked if they could make it wider. The only way that's really easy to make this wider is to use bigger yarn and bigger needles. Otherwise, there's a lot of math involved, because you have to figure out how many stitches you have in that flower section, in the repeats, and how many stitches you have in the leaf section in the repeats. And then you have to do enough increasing on the flower section to get you the stitches that you require for the leaf section without having a lot of stitches left over, because when you have them left over, then you have to push them elsewhere. So it's possible to make it wider, but it's not an easy shawl scarf to make wider. There are easier patterns for that. And what was I thinking? So yeah, this month we did our lace knit along. Next month we're going to do it with the stitch along. And then October is going to be Spin Together, so we'll be focused on spinning. November, I think I want to do a sweater. So because it is Naniswimo, right? National Knit a Sweater Month. So I want to do a sweater, I think, out of the darny, which, oh look, I happen to have a whole bag of it right here. And I'm thinking maybe a colorwork sweater. Yeah, and you know, we got all of those beautiful books in, all those beautiful Norwegian colorwork books in. So maybe, I don't know, what do you guys think? What do you think? Should we maybe do a sweater? Should we do a sweater knit along for November? Gives us a little time to think about it. We'll keep talking about this. Oh, anyway, all right. Well, if nobody has questions, remember you can always email me if you do. Then I'm just going to remind you about your self-care. So make sure that you are posting to Facebook, Instagram, wherever. Just tag Black Sheep Fiber Emporium. And remember, you know, we have a monthly contest. So if you post, there's a chance you might win the monthly contest. And we have had low entries like every month. I think the most I ever had was maybe 20. So really good odds of winning a gift certificate or yarn or roving or something, you know, something that sounds fun. So I'm throwing that out there. And then remember that the Slow Yarn Crawl, again, is ongoing. That ends September 6th, and you have a week following September 6th to make sure that you download your patterns and that you get entered into the regional and grand prize contests. So just want to throw that out there, a little reminder. Make sure you're doing that. If you have trouble, let me know with your lovely Waterlillies knit along. But hopefully if you've made it this far, then you're doing all right. And I will see you all on Monday for a, hopefully, cross your fingers, blocking session. Hopefully. And Wednesday, again, remember we are going to talk about the stitch along for this really, really beautiful Constellation series kit from Kariki Press. So just throwing that out there. Just a little reminder, Anyway, what else do I need to tell you? I think that was it. So until next week, please take care of yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally, craftually. Wear your mask. If you haven't already vaccinated, go get vaccinated, please. I got vaccinated. I had COVID and I got vaccinated anyway. So that's what we're supposed to do. You know, I didn't like having COVID. It kind of sucked. So just mentioning that. Wash your hands. Shop online at Black Sheep Fiber Emporium so that you don't have to go out as much. And if you have questions about crafting or you have suggestions for one of my videos or a class that you'd like me to teach, let me know, because I love those kinds of suggestions. And anyway, I will see you Wednesday when we talk about the stitch along and what to expect. So, see you then. Bye.